What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the stream. My name is D. Anthony with Evolution Traders. We're going to go ahead and take a look at the Nasdaq 100 for all of you futures traders out there. So again, if you guys kind of missed my live stream this morning, I'm going to be on the road to getting funded another six figures, hopefully by the end of the year, right? So definitely no rush. If you guys want to trade with me live each and every single day through that webinar on Discord and on YouTube, through voice chat or whatever, I'm not the traditional kind of, just hear me talk all day and just listen. You guys can jump in the Discord. You're on voice chat, so you can also, talk in real time. But anyways, so today let's kind of get into the markets, right? Like what exactly happened? It's Halloween today. I felt like the market was doing a little bit of trick and then, treating later on in the day. So what was happening today, if we look at the Nasdaq 100, I had a few levels on my chart kind of marked out, starting with yesterday's lows, okay? So I have yesterday's lows kind of marked out. I also have yesterday's highs marked out, and then I had those overnight session highs marked out. Now, I would have kind of put in the overnight session lows or the first hour lows as well, but it's just so close to yesterday's lows that I didn't really see a point, right? If we were going to break this, what's 10, 15 handles, I'd rather just see it break through yesterday's lows. However, on this side of things, the overnight session highs did have some room between 14,453 all the way into 14,477, which was about 20 points. Now, to start the day immediately, you can see here in the pre-market session, we started pushing up here to the session highs in the overnight session. And then we immediately started to pull back off the open. Now, one thing to kind of keep in mind, because it was an absolute shit show, especially if you were trying to scalp. Me and some of the guys were kind of sitting there. I think I took 2 or 3 scalp plays. Immediately were just losers, right? Everything that was confirming over the 20 SMA was just pulling right back, and then it would confirm right to the downside, so you jump back into that play. It got to a point where I needed to take a little bit of a break. I was down around $250 on those trades. I ended up actually coming back and finishing very, very nicely on the day. It was $1,700 that I ended up finishing with, because I did play some mini contracts when we finally got that break towards the end of the day, and I'll kind of explain that a little bit later. But for the better half of the morning, it was an absolute, shit show, right? So one thing that I kind of want to keep in mind here, when you're dealing with that kind of price action that we got, and we're looking at the 15-minute time frame here, and I'm going to kind of switch this to a 5-minute view, but I just wanted to show you guys the levels that I had marked out here. So as I was watching this 5-minute time frame, let me just adjust this on screen so you guys can see it a little bit better. As we started to kind of pull in off the open, we lost that 200 period moving average. Now, I was kind of letting, the traders that were trading with me this morning, it said, I was looking for that dead cat bounce. I was looking for the reversal. So I didn't really have an interest in the long. And the only reason is, we were down 6 points on the Nasdaq last week. We were only up about 1% yesterday, which was a little bit of a choppy day as well. I'm not saying that we're going back to all-time highs or nothing like that, but even if we're going to make a new low, I think that we need a 1, 2, 3 day bounce, right? Just so we can at least allow the charts to set up so we have a good short potential rather than kind of shorting into the hole. And one thing that I was mentioning to the guys in Discord at Evolution Traders was, typically, if you're going to get a dead cat bounce, the last thing you want to see is a gap up or us shoot straight out of the gates going higher. That's the last thing that you want to see. What you want to see for a potential dead cat bounce is either a gap down or off the open, an aggressive washout. And that's exactly what we have. If you kind of look at these candlesticks here right off the bell, it was an aggressive washout through the 200 all the way down into yesterday's lows. But one thing that is very significant about this is that we held yesterday's lows. There was actually a little bit of an entry here that I did not take because I was waiting for these 20 plays on these evaluation accounts. I'm going to try to play them a little bit smarter, a little bit slower. Again, I have a goal to get, a few more of these funded accounts going before 2024. So I'm going to take my time. But you know, as we're looking at this price action, we started to get stopped out here on this short position. We got stopped out on this long position. I got stopped out on this long position. I got stopped out on this long position. I was down like 3 or 4 trades, guys. And typically with normal position sizing, for me, my normal position sizing is like anywhere between 4 to 6 micro contracts. I would have been done on the day. Absolutely done on the day. But because I understand that the price action has been more violent lately and the candles have been bigger, to start these fresh evaluation accounts, I went ahead and I just was playing 1 and 2 micros at a time, right? So these trades, you know, I was getting stopped out, but it's like a $40 loss here. It's like a $70 loss there. It's not really too crazy, you know? So like I was down 250, you know, 275 or something like that. It's still manageable, right? It's still manageable. It's not like you're down 2,000 on the day and your account's liquidated or nothing like that. You know, one thing that I was also kind of mentioning too from the live stream is that we're not going to really start to fly until we break out of those overnight session highs, that first hour candles highs, and or, you know, the previous day's range, whether that be to the top side or to the long or to the downside. So realistically, once we started to approach later on in the afternoon here, once we started to approach the overnight session highs, we really exploded through it. You know, 14,005 or 453 all the way into the 77s, guys. So this was an immediate 25 point run up here. I caught this one on a couple of mini contracts. Again, I sized way up because when I'm looking at this, you know, price action, I don't recommend doing that if you're, let's say for example, you're like $200 away or $500 away from getting funded, or you already are funded. I would not do that sizing up, just due to the fact that if it failed, you can put yourself in a lot of harm. So, you know, kind of wait for it to crack a little bit, see what the price action does on that 5-minute candle. And then as it starts to race through that level, you want to jump in. You just want to get out right at the next supply zone. Ended up taking that for a nice little winner here because of the fact that we finally broke those overnight session highs. When we pulled back here, I wasn't looking for a short position because this is just a classic break, test supply, back test the area that we just broke out from, and let's see if we can kind of push higher here. I went ahead and I did take this 20 SMA play long here, and I kind of held it up through high of day. You know, as soon as we broke the high of day, I just immediately sold on this wick here. Wish I would have caught all of that, but I did not. So again, was able to make up the majority of my day in this vicinity, right? In this vicinity is when I was able to make up the majority of my day. Now, I was taking a little bit of a scalp position here. I got stuck in some drawdown on this wick, kind of waited for, you know, I jumped in a little early. I should have actually waited for this candlestick to get confirmed. But, you know, once I started to see the aggressive, you know, kind of wick up higher, I went ahead and tried to jump that candlestick. So I got in a little bit early. So I kind of sat through some drawdown while this candle got itself situated. And then it kind of broke up towards this linear regression, traded sideways, took a little bit of gains there, pulled back, stayed over the 20, and then I took that next breakout again. So I took a lot more trades than I would have liked to today. But one thing that I do want to point out, and I want you guys to understand, what I want you guys to be familiar with is what was yesterday's channel, meaning what was the high of yesterday, what was the low of yesterday. Make sure you know what that is. Make sure you mark it out. Also, what was our overnight session high? Overnight session high, overnight session low. Correlate that with the previous day's channel, and then everything else in between is just range, right? It's just a range. So in order for us to get an aggressive move, we need to break out of the range, or we need to come from the bottom of the channel, right? Like we did here, and you're going to have to kind of sit through a lot of junk. I mean, realistically, guys, it was 3 hours, 3.5 hours, almost 4 hours before this actually started to do something. If you look at when we actually started to break out, it was 10:40 in the morning. So from a 6:30 open to 10:40, we're talking about 4 hours later, guys. I mean, I was like shocked. Like today, it took everything out of me to try to make a buck. Again, that's going in my journal today. I should have just called it a day in this range here. Yeah, you know, you can look at it like, well, you wouldn't have made any money. You would have ended the day red. But what it would have done is preserve my mental capital for tomorrow. Now, again, tomorrow is going to be another big day. We've got, you know, Jerome Powell going to speak, and what's the market going to do, and blah, 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 blah. Right. So again, I don't know how active I'm going to be trading tomorrow. Again, you guys know, You know, once you get in the groove and if you have some success, you tend to try to take more trades. If I can hit it early, you know, where I'm get positive on these evals, you know, fairly early in the day, I'll probably just chop it up. I'm really not looking to repeat the same process over and over. You know, I'd rather just kind of wait. But again, I would like to make some money tomorrow, so I definitely will be showing up. I'm definitely be looking for my trades, and I'm definitely going to be trying to hit them with a little bit of power. What I'm going to also do tomorrow is I might look at the 15-minute view. Okay, I was looking at the 15-minute view today, so especially in ranges that are a little bit choppy like this, I could have avoided some of these plays of getting chopped up, because realistically I could have entered long at 7:30, and yes, I understand I would have been in drawdown, but technically I had the 200 here on the 15-minute, and I also had this wick here, my reason why. So how much drawdown would it have put me in? I don't know, maybe 40, 45 points. But again, if I'm going to trade one contract or just two contracts, maybe I would have been down anywhere between $120 and $200 max if I would have got stopped out. And the good part is that it's a little bit lower stress. You know, yes, it's going to take a lot longer to develop, but you know, the entry that got provided was in this area here. So if you really look at it, I mean, 14,420s into all the way up here to 14, basically 499 and 14,500. You know, you could have made a nice 60, 70, 80 points just kind of holding it and letting it work, right? So I'm going to give the 5-minute or a 15-minute view a little bit of a shot tomorrow. Maybe play it on one micro contract. I do like this setup here that happened at 9:30 a.m. Notice how we closed over the 20 here, and we stopped right at this linear regression. We did confirm on the next 15-minute candle. We had to sit through a little bit of drawdown here. Again, our average true range on this at one point in time was during the trading hours, because obviously we're trading now still, and you know, it's kind of tightened up the range right now. The range is 27, but at any point in time today, it was on the 15-minute view, it was sitting at around 34, and I think the highest I seen it was like 39. So expect to lose on the 15-minute chart around 40, 45 points. So size yourself accordingly from there. One contract, you're going to be down about 90 bucks or so. Two contracts, you be down close to 200. So again, but you know, if you do win the trade, I'm just going to look for a 1-to-1. That's all I'm going to look for. If I'm going to risk 30 points or 40 points on a trade, I'm just going to look to make, you know, 30, 40 points. And then if I make that, I'm just going to go ahead and get out of it. And depending on what kind of sets up later in the day, that might be my only trade for the day, right? You know, so whether it's a winner or a loser, that might be my one and done trade. And I'm just going to continue to focus on that. So I'm going to take you guys along on my journey. The goal is to get funded another 6 figures, hopefully, you know, multiple 6 figures. 200,000 would be nice. I'm going to just go after $50,000 accounts. So far I've got 2 of them opened up, and combined, you know, I'm up around $1,700 on the 2, give or take. I have to go into the dashboard and kind of see what the exact metrics are, the numbers are, because, you know, there was a point in time where I wanted to trade, you know, ES and the NQ today, and I ended up putting both of them. I wanted to trade them separately, the ES on one account and the NQ on one account. Ended up throwing them all on the one account, completely screwed me up. But just because it was hard to kind of manage it, I'm probably going to do like take one trade, let it play out, and then my next trade, if there's another setup, I'm going to just flip to the other account instead of trying to take both of my accounts or both of my trades on the same account. Again, why not use a copy trader? Because I have nothing against copy trading. It's just for me personally, I want to manage them separately. Now, again, you know, I only have 2 funded accounts as of right now. I'm working on 2 more. When I get up to like 10 accounts, then I'm going to group them in like groups of 2 or 3 on copy traders. But right now I want to trade them separately. That's why I'm just comfortable doing it that way. And that's the way that I want to do it. So I just want to give you guys a little bit of a update on what we're looking like on the Nasdaq futures, and an update on what I'm going to be doing a little bit more on stream, which is, you know, on that road to getting funded here. You know, I'm trying to look to add at least another $100,000 to the end of
order submitted,
or by the end of the year. So that's what I'm going to look to do. Again, guys, be safe out there. Understand where you're at in the charts. Don't try to do nothing crazy. Don't try to overtrade. If you manage to take a couple of losses off the bell, just kind of relax a little bit. you know, make sure your risk is sized appropriately. And that's the main thing, guys. If you guys want to trade with me each and every single day live and you want to get access to that mentorship and community, that link is down in the description box below. I only got 3 spots open. So come tomorrow, it's going to be November. As soon as they're gone, guys. I only take about 3 or 4 people each and every single month, just so we can kind of stay focused in there. So again, act on it. If you guys want to join, you guys want to trade with me, I'll see you guys on the inside.